Who's actually going to get the most out of a submersible sewage pump, and who should walk away before they spend a Friday night installing a piece of equipment they'll never need? Is the Zoeller WasteMate 1 HP 2-inch model a smart buy for a typical homeowner who just wants peace of mind when the basement floods, or is it an over-engineered, pricey option better suited for commercial properties? That's the question I'm trying to answer for you today. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. If you've ever woken up to a sour smell in the crawl space, seen water pooling around your laundry area, or dealt with a slow-draining floor drain after a heavy rain, you already know how costly a pump failure can be. The biggest hesitation most people have isn't will this pump move water, but will it survive the messy reality of raw sewage, grit, and occasional dry run without frying the motor? That's the real risk you're managing when you pick a pump, and it's also the reason the Zoeller brand has been around for decades. People trust that they can leave a pump running unattended for weeks without a surprise shutdown. Let's talk about the kind of setup you're likely to have. Most residential sewage pumps sit in a pit or sump that's either part of a basement's drainage system or a dedicated wet well for a laundry room. The WasteMate is a vertical, submersible unit that you drop straight into the pit and connect to a standard 2-inch discharge pipe. In practice, that means you don't have to build a custom housing or buy a fancy mounting bracket. You just pour concrete around the pit, drop the pump in, and wire it up to a dedicated 230-volt circuit. The simplicity of that installation is a big win for DIY-savvy homeowners, but there's a hidden trade-off. You need a solid, level pit that can accommodate a full 1-horsepower motor without waterlogging the surrounding concrete. If your basement has a low ceiling or limited space, you might end up spending more on a concrete remodel than the pump itself. Now, who should actually buy the WasteMate? First, any homeowner who's already dealing with a high-volume waste line. Think a second-floor bathroom draining into a basement wet well, a large laundry area, or a kitchen sink that's connected to a low-lying trap will benefit from the 1 HP motor's ability to push water quickly through a 2-inch pipe. The motor's power is not just for speed, it also gives the pump a safety margin when it encounters solids like grease, hair, or small pieces of debris that can jam weaker models. If you're a property manager with multiple units that share a single waste pit, the extra headroom on the motor helps keep the system from stalling during peak usage. Second, people who want a set-it-and-forget-it solution will appreciate that the WasteMate is built in the United States and carries a reputation for durability. In the field, that translates to a motor that can handle continuous run cycles without overheating, and a casing that resists corrosion from the harsh environment inside a sewage pit. The pump's automatic float switch also means you don't have to watch a float arm manually. The device turns on as soon as water reaches a certain level and shuts off when the pit empties, reducing the chance of a dry run that would burn out the motor. On the flip side, if you're a casual user who only needs a pump for occasional rainwater or a small basement bathroom, you're probably overpaying for this level of horsepower. A HP model would handle the same job with less electricity draw and a lower purchase price, and it would still be adequate for most single-family homes. Another practical weakness to keep in mind is the need for a dedicated 230-volt circuit. If your garage or basement only has standard 120-volt outlets, you'll need to call an electrician to run a new line, which adds $150 $300 to the total cost. That hidden expense can turn what looks like a $250 pump into a $500 project. Let's walk through a real-world scenario. I have a friend who runs a small coffee shop out of a converted house. The shop's espresso machine and dishwasher discharge into a common waste line that drops into a basement pit. During the morning rush, the line backs up, and the water level climbs fast. With a 1 HP pump like the WasteMate, the system clears the blockage in under a minute, keeping the shop's floor dry and preventing any foul odors from seeping into the dining area. The owner told me the pump has been running non-stop for 3 months with only routine cleaning, and he hasn't seen any motor failures. That's a concrete example of why the extra horsepower matters when you have multiple high-flow fixtures feeding the same pit. Contrast that with a typical suburban home where the only waste source is a downstairs laundry and a bathroom. In that case, a slower pump would have enough time to move the water between cycles, and the homeowner would rarely notice any performance